Tēnā pē Crystal, tēnā kōrua Uncle Hami, nāhiwi whakine nā cup this morning. Ngai o Tiuka, I manage the Taiwhenua unit in Ngāti Kahini Iwi Incorporated and responsible for our putting together the speakers today. But I'd like everyone to thank, I'd like to thank the tari, my colleagues at work, because I don't really, you know, they all put it together. Tarangi Huata, Tracy Tuamaturi, and especially Ruth Wong. You know who Ruth is? She's the one who will probably tell you off if you're doing something wrong, or you're a presenter and you haven't brought your presentation, or you're slow, or anything possibly. She's generally just the boss of us all. So I'd really like to acknowledge the Tari and Ruth for that. And our Taiwhenua and all our presenters who come today will talk about the other presenters. But our Taiwhenua, it's important. This is the only opportunity where our Taiwhenua can provide feedback altogether in a forum like this, I think, in a dedicated time. And apologies, it's not a long time, but our Taiwhenua are important for Ngāti Kahungunu, where over 65,000 people identify as Kahungunu. It's the third largest iwi in the country. We have the second largest area and coastline. So without our Taiwhenua helping us connect to all our hapu, it wouldn't be possible. So, homai te paki. So let's crack into it. There's all the any questions for our Taiwhenua, individual Taiwhenua or generic ones from the presentations. White shades got our mic over here.
Kia ora ki te whenua, ko e kirika tōku ingoa, ko taku mahi e rongo nui, te rangahau o te mawiriwitanga o te Wi-Fi radiation. He pātai tāku ki a koutou. I'm deeply concerned about our people diving into using Wi-Fi connections. Internet is another story, but it's the Wi-Fi at the moment for me. This has been a 9-year research that I have done on my own, because every time I try to get help with it, I get the head turn, because for our people, we've moved innovatively so rapidly and are so clever that sometimes I believe we don't really look deeper ourselves into what it is we're delving into. And my partai is, has anybody that's pushed for the use of for our people to use the Wi-Fi connections, to put it on our maraes? Have you actually gone and done that research yourself, not government research, yourself, to say that it's okay for us to do this for our people? My kōrero is coming from my whare tangata.
Kia ora to the apartheid for all of us to respond back to. To be completely honest, I'm not aware of what sort of well-being problems, impacts, effects that it would have, but I can concur with the fact that most of the things that have been coming at us, if you look at mate corona, you don't see it. You look at DIN, dissolved nitrogen, Campylobacter, E. coli, you don't see these things. And they've only just come up, they've just come at a surge to us in these recent years. The only thing I can say to you, Kari, is I'd be interested in terms of what that wellbeing impact effect may have on our tinana, our hene ngaro. I know when I started to compare, you know, the latest, what's that term for the latest technology of Androids, something like way, it's way up here anyway, but and of course the debates that are going around the world in terms of whether or not the use of that 5G. 5G is had, and you see the rationale of arguments as you go along. And so I'm trying to weigh this up like probably you may have done, my dear, over the years with your research. More than happy to have an offline cordial with you in terms of what that impact is. But like I say, the silent enemy is you don't see these things coming at you. Kia ora.
Kia ora. So as a chair of my marae, the trustees, we go back to our whānau and ask them, and one of the key things was we actually asked the provider some of the information, because the key questions were about the Wi-Fi effects. As things go on, it's the same around the injection. We can only prepare what we have out there. So I'd love to welcome your 9 years of study, so we can get an understanding of what that means. So if, just like Mara, would love to sit down and have a kōrero with you, because we have got whānau at home that are anti what they don't think or what they don't know. However, as our life go on, with our future things, we don't want to stop our children from enhancing into what their future may look like, but we can only educate. So your education that you've done for yourself, we actually welcome that here in Wairoa. But as whānau, we support the marae connectivity because it was about our whānau predominantly lived away from our country, and during COVID, the mama that it was that they couldn't touch their whānau was a way that they could connect. So that was our whakaaro around supporting marae connectivity. Kapa? Hey, Mara.
Kia ora. Any other pātai? What people are thinking about the question. Just to let you know, those pictures in the back, our posters relate to our presentations. Yep, one question in a second. And today we have a lot of research projects, and the posters describing those research and pictures and images of the purpose really and drivers. So, kia ora, James.
Kia ora, no, kia ora koutou, kia ora tātou, kei te whare ko James Taiwhenua, no poke hau, kei runga I te rohinga o kamatea rao ko here taunga. I work at Hastings District Council, and my part-time is in relation to, with my own mana whenua hat on now, is in relation to resource and environmental management services. Now, I know back in 2019, Māre, we had hosted some manuhiri here in Ahuriri from Mahanui Kurutaiao here. But just given the landscape that we, as officers and councils, are encountering, and we, as mana whenua, are encountering with development, resource consent applications, and the burdening of partai on the likes of yourselves, ourselves outside the council. Knowing that last year was a bit of a spanner in the works, but how do we face moving forward as Taiwhenua, and knowing that we all affiliate to PSGs as well, and getting into that space with including Nikki, our treaty settlement PSGs, our Taiwhenua, knowing that we all engage with councils from South Waitanapa all the way up to Wairoa, how can we make it more efficient and effective for ourselves, given our capacities, because we go to the same people, and it's sometimes more than often in an ad hoc fashion, on a need-to-do basis. So how we can work collectively to potentially establish an entity down the line as a part of the long-term plan to address development within the right of Rohe of Taiwhenua. So something along those lines.
Well, I guess I'm holding the microphone, so I'll launch it. I think, James, and it's a really, really important question that's been put to us, and there was, I guess, hints and demonstrations of the three in the presentations that have been given to the audience today. And it shows the amount of effort at the front line where our respective entities, whether you're a Taiwhenua, whether you're part of the Māori Council, the fresh arrival of our PSGEs, and of course the overwatch of our Ngāti Kahungunu Iwi Authority. And so this arrival, of course, brings with it a number of different complex, challenging issues. And I think we're at different stages of how we are building our own confidence, capability, and having to step into that particular front end. And it is quite daunting to actually have the confidence of our whānau step into that. So very foreign. It's not of our own ilk. You're into something that's a different tikanga. It is of a Western colonial behaviour and attitude. That's what we're confronted, but that's also our reality. And so, James, I'd like to think that when we did bring in Kura at that particular time, the need for all of us throughout the whole of Ngāti Kahungunu, we've been searching, we've been looking and saying, where can we, with confidence, hand on heart, because we've got a big rohe, and all of these issues are happening of importance under each and every one of us that sit here and what's under our watch. And so the sparse nature and demand that's occurring means that we want to have that service right here, right now, and when we need it, because we wake up every day, and when I'm waking up every day, it's unrelenting. From sunrise to sunset, and in the middle of the day, there's either a central government, local government, an RMA, an environmental, this, that, and everything that's coming at you. So it would be good, and I've got the greatest confidence that the oversight within Ngāti Kahungunu, particularly our environmental unit, when we're talking about environmental RMA issues, we're going to be confronted even more so by the wheels of this machine that's going to go through reforms in the next wee while, whether that's Three Waters, RMA, the replacement of RMA. We've been left out of that conversation. I think the time has come where we've been pushing co-design, co-management, that has to be co-ownership, so that we're right in the thick of having to make informed decisions, providing that level of acceptance to go alongside of our treaty partner. This is an acknowledgement to those non-Māori that have been sitting in our councils that supported the Māori vote yesterday. It's only just the start. I've been in this role for 30 years with the role of having to be the hawk over everything that moves in our rohe. And I mean, I just put it out there to all of our respective Taiwhenua. They're the watchdogs within their own particular rohe. I'd like to think that one day there's a specialist unit that does emerge, but you've got to look at the entirety of Ngāti Kahungunu, because we need it right now, you know, and it wasn't, and not yesterday. So, tautoko the whakaro of setting up some kind of oversight for the whole of Ngāti Kahungunu katoa. And how we do that will be judged. Go on.
Tēnā koe e te tuakana. Just, I think also we need to think more on a strategic level around the districts. LTPs, the long-term plans, and our Taiwhenua right across the rohe need to engage in that space and ensure that our wāhi taonga are protected across the whole rohe. And so, for Taiwhenua to be able to be in a space where there's a specialist group put together across, will be in support of that, absolutely, 100%, and certainly to be able to address RMA issues right across.
Kia ora, James, and thank you for your pārtai. Just to add to Huri and Mare, as our Taiwhenua has set up, and I know Hira Taunga and Te Wairo have been doing this for a while, we've set up our Te Whanga research. But what I want to say is we need to put the onus back on you as local government and TLAs, because you've been funded millions and millions of dollars to do research and that, and actually none of it has channeled down to most of the Taiwhenua. Some Taiwhenua are okay in that space, but most, I know I can speak for our Taiwhenua, we receive every week requests for I guess, RMA consents in relation to developments that are going on out there, not just from the council, but also from property developers, from consultants that are working on behalf of people that want to subdivide these sections up here on Mataruaho at Heipipi, and also we've had contributed to the landscapes report here to try and put an overlay to protect our whenua out there. It's a huge part of our mahi at the moment actually, and we don't have the resources. So we put the onus back on the councils to give us those resources. James, to your council as well. I know you're doing some work there, Hastings District Council, but to the regional council, there's a lot of work out there that they expect us to do. And I must get requests for meetings every week, and that would be about 30 hours of mahi for us to go along to Hastings District Council, Napier City Council, and the Regional Council, Department of Conservation. Every week we're doing this work. It's huge, and we need to set up that entity. Well, we don't need to, we're going to do it, and because quite frankly we've had enough, you know, of actually giving our people and getting requests to go along, and our people are the only ones sitting in the room that aren't getting paid, and so that's not good. Yeah, and we've got a lot of our kaumātua that give their expert advice time and time again, and they need to be remunerated. So we've made a stand at our Taiwhenua. I don't know, I can't speak for any other Taiwhenua, that every time one of our kaumātua goes in that council room, something follows. And what follows is a GST tax invoice for their time. And so, and it should. Because there's lots of money being spent on those engineers and other consultants that are there. But I think we're at a place now where there's, you know, some dialogue happening. Also around the three waters is another thing. I think we got duped there actually. Because what happened was all the councils got given all the funding, and our people had turned up to all these hui around Three Waters, and the councils actually had said to us, it's the cultural case that matters, and that was the point of difference. However, no resources followed for that cultural case, and the amount of hours our people from Wairoa came to those hui as well. There was no, no resource given to our people. So we're going to fight again. As Michelle has said, we'll continue to fight there. There is a fight there and challenge there to the councils. So thank you for your partai, but we want to actually put the onus back on the councils. Kia ora.
He mihi nui kia koutou whānau o kahununu, tihea kahununu. Ko Andrea Rutini Taiwhenua. I'm in an interesting position where I kind of, like you James, have to straddle bureaucracy and pave the way to try and get some kind of justice for our whānau. You know, we've been fighting this fight for over 170 years now, and so hopefully, you know, we know the game, we know how to fight and play that game, and in Wairarapa, our matua Nelson, he's there doing a tono for us at our Masterton District Council around Māori wards. So he's a 92-year-old standing up, representing us in that forum. But like you all, you know, like we're stretched, and the work is heavy. We are the faces of our tupuna today, fighting those same fights, and you know, e hara take toi, i te toa takitahi, engari he toa takitini. So that's rings true to me. You know, united we stand, and so where we can learn, help, manoeuvre, tautoko, yeah, I want to see more of that. Build capacity, you know, where one's falling over or needing help, you know, we're there. We're not just in our own rohe trying to do our thing, but across kahununu, if we can work like that, you know, how amazing would that be?
Kia ora mai tātou. I'm Nigel Howe, Chairman of the Wairoa Taiwhenua and iwi Board Member. I used to hold the iwi tile portfolio. The one problem with holding that portfolio is that it's too large. And so I gave it back to the iwi.
I didn't know that.
You were at the board meeting.
It was refused, didn't it?
Because the iwi is so large and the 6 Taiwhenuas have different issues in regards to environment, there's actually no logical solution for an iwi-wide voice across all if you're going to leave it to one board member to try and do it. The issues in Taiwhenua and Ngāpuhi are completely different to the ones in Wairoa. So I gave that one position back. The power base, as we all know, for everyone, sits with the maraes first and foremost. The maraes are the power base of the iwi. The Taiwhenuas are there to facilitate the wants, the needs, and resource our maraes and our people, our registered beneficiaries. The iwi exists in a beautiful place where we can umbrella all those things and have the high-level conversations that need to be had, basically with government. So when it comes to Hawke's Bay Regional Council and the different councils, those conversations should be held with Taiwhenua. When it comes to the government, those conversations should be held with Ngāti Kaunga and iwi, with the Taiwhenuas filtering into that. And our Taiwhenuas should be supporting the wants and needs of mana whenua in their own areas. That's the logical way it should be done, and that's the logic that everyone should be living to. What doesn't work?
I'm sorry, Jenny, I'm sorry. I mean, forget the structure. I go halfway on with this. And what you just said, it's not going to produce the results we want faster. Hypothetically, I agree with you. We'd love it that way. But the people on the ground, wherever the issue is, they are the knowledge holders, and they're the ones who embrace and very recorded all this with those mentioned. They have the weight and momentum, gravity, capacity, and resources to power into that space. Back up the knowledge holders. Because now we've got Māori on the plate, we've got Mana o Te Wai on the plate. There's a grave concern is that the people who actually understand what those are in practice daily are not part of the conversation. Those are the people living in time. Where the stream is, where the river is, where the shore is, where the puna is, those people need to be part of that conversation.
Thank you. You just explained what I said.
Kia ora, Jane, for their partai. But I think just to add to that, or you got a supplementary question about this.
I just want to thank you for the responses.
I think everyone's right, and Tanya talked about it, and same as Eugenie and Naya this morning, about our own mātauranga and our own science, our own knowledge. And that should be front and centre to making decisions. But I'll say this, the reality is it's not. Right? And when it comes down to decision making, our mātauranga is relegated. And I can bring you examples. Right? So you've seen a presentation from Wairoa about the wastewater and dealing with wastewater discharge. This goes into the Wairoa River, which is a huge mahinga kai. The decision making, and we rely on the mātauranga. We come in to support Katarina and Michelle and Namu and Wairoa Taiwhenua and all of Wairoa around that subject. But then it goes down to another level where the discussion is amongst experts what to do with it. And those experts, they don't typically include our cultural experts. They include scientists about ecology and hydrologists and geomorphology and a whole bunch of words that I'm struggling with for people to discuss the actual decision. It's going to happen again next week. So for another example of managing our waterways, we have all our mātauranga contributing to this is what we want, but then that's not relied upon. We have to get an ecologist. We've got an economist. Peter Fraser is going to talk later today. Kia ora, Peter. We have to have economists because that's an influence to decision making. We have to engage a hydrologist, which we can't afford, so we relied on DOC, and then they pulled out. That's the reality, and I could list a whole bunch of other technical people in the scientific field, Western science, who we rely on, and we've got some other hydrologists here who impart and provide this knowledge. If we was just ourselves, we'd rely on our own mātauranga. And we're still fighting for that space, for that voice to be heard on par and have parity with other voices. So while we've got Māori wards, I don't think it's the end whānau. It's still, that's a voice, but it's still getting that a voice recognised. And I'll just put a plug in, make sure your whānau are registered for under the Māori roll, because I think the majority aren't. I think only half our population are, so it's all good supporting Māori boards, but if you're not registered on the Māori roll, regardless. So kia ora, James, we've got Bell for 5 minutes. There was one other question over here, so
So this is something that's like slowly I just want to make sure that this question regarding the Wi-Fi connection in Marae has I think it's a really important question that she asks, because it's a question that we take for granted and we actually don't actually question those sorts of things. As a wireless internet service provider and have connected over 100 Marae with connectivities from the North and South Island. For me, health is really important. It's something that I actually support and connectivity from Marae. It's a central place. And with our submissions, it was an integral part of the success of our boards net. So from her question, the question I wanted to know is around vaccines, and we have Taiwhenua in the house. And so what I wanted to know was, what was everybody's thoughts around the vaccine? There are kaumātua, there are whānau that support, and there are conversations. And so I'd just like to know what the collective responses are around vaccinating within our whānau.
sure.
Thank you.
Kia ora. Thank you for your partai. We've got 10 seconds each to answer this, but just from our perspective, our Taiwhenua and Hoodie's going to speak too. Just quickly, it's choice. It's my choice, everybody's choice, so that's all I'm going to say. Kia ora.
Absolutely, and there are kaumātua there that are staunch about wanting the vaccination, then there are those who are a little standoffish, and we respect that. We respect that wholeheartedly. So our job is to ensure that our whānau are getting access to it, because if you work your way back in history, our people were the last to have the opportunities.
I just encourage everyone to take the shot. We've got 300 soldiers on the front line, and I mean, we're at the really cusp front end of having to counsel and be with our whānau in those sorts of situations. Be nothing worse having to go there. You're all masked up, you haven't had your shot. So it's the look, but I encourage everyone to take the shot.
Kia ora, for us down there, it's a choice thing, but we have information out there that turns around and tells the whānau of the effects or whatever it is. So I was thinking even our Pākehā whānau out down in Tamatea, so yeah, it's for us it's a choice thing. Taranganiki Wairarapa, we support informed decision making, so we will be holding a collective whānau with information around this.
We have our Māori Women's Welfare League involved in putting that information out there as well. But all I know is, over 1 million people have died. And whatever answers, we will never always have all the answers. But if we can stop that happening somehow, it's got to be a good thing.
Kia ora rā, for Waro Taiwhenua, it's all about providing good information, clear information, and supporting people to make informed choices whether they wish to have the shot or not. Because that's about supporting individuals, mana motuhake, to choose for themselves.
I'll just support the chair on that one, and we encourage, like I said, we hire our 4 rangatahi, and in our communication out to our kaumātua, it's by choice. learner, so they will be calling out, but it is about giving our people choice, because I agree with Rory, we were probably at the other spectrum years ago, so yes.
Kia ora. O mai te paki. What do you want to know, Sean?
Just in closing, before you do go, I'd just like to put it there now to our Taiwhenua across the rohe, that all of our CEOs meet together, come together and share each other's knowledge, share each other's strategic plans, and try and work together to achieve some of the things that our iwi are asking for. We'll host it, we're happy to host that. So our CEO, Tania Eden, will put the call out to all of the CEOs across Ngāti Kahungunu Taiwhenua to come together collectively, work together strategically to achieve what our people want. Kia ora.
Kia ora. You can be with them after 3 o'clock.